Lots of stress going around now, isn't there?
Yes.
Changes of the seasons a little bit.
It's always particularly challenging, I think, for everybody, even though the season is changing and we're going on towards a warmer.
Well, we are in this hemisphere.
In this hemisphere we are. Yeah, that's so true. Very true, yes. We are here. We're going towards, well, we're in spring now, so it's actually quite lovely. But yet again, it can be quite tiring at times.
Very tiring.
Sometimes I just think, isn't the darkness? It's because especially if you're outside, for example, we've got gardens, so you're outside in the garden, then I just think that's enough now. But let's just close and sort of being used to more like cooching up in the winter, like the day is finished, but no, it goes on, and you can say, oh, I can still be.
There's a lot of cleaning involved.
There's more cleaning. There's a bit of everything, but it's wonderful. But at the same time, it can be tiring.
And that's what we're going to be chatting about in this week's episode of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
And as usual, with a dose of therapy. We are hypnotherapists.
We are hypnotherapists, and we are here to help
you. So we're going to be reading from our book, Stress Free in 3 Minutes. And it's called The Mop.
Yes, this little story, The Mop.
So we're talking about cleaning, aren't we? We love a mop, but I don't like using it much. But I like having one.
They're useful. Very useful tools. You'd be surprised without one.
It's difficult, especially with our hard floors.
Yes, indeed.
Drop by drop, she took the mop and used it to wipe away what she no longer needed.
The stress, the fear, the longing to be perfect.
For she knew that with a mop, her work would be easy.
Before, drops that formed puddles in her mind stopped her from being herself.
Like she once was.
When all was well.
She no longer wanted that daily torture.
She knew now how to be free of stress, worry, and all that she no longer needed.
The mop came to her,
it's funny,
to her aid, and as she wiped away the puddles in her mind,
a sensation of space, of freedom to create, and a longing to live in the present moment flooded her senses.
With the sweet smell of fresh air, clean
and free to be.
Just herself, without all that worry and stress.
Oh, yes. So there you go. Sometimes you do need the tools.
Well, you need the tools for your mind.
You do indeed. And for the house, for everything really.
It's funny, but it's true.
It's funny. I could see you laughing there. But
I'm laughing because it's so obvious, but we do need the tools. And we're not born with a tool book. How to manage our minds.
That is very, very true. We're not born with a tool book, yeah.
If anything, it's the opposite. We're given all this stress and all this worry and all this stuff that we don't know what to do with.
Yes, and very often the people that look after us are also incapable of dealing with these challenges, and they show you how they deal with it or how they dealt with it, and those are the patterns that you end up learning without really. They're not the most useful patterns. Let's put it at that. You know, there may be ways that your parents or your caretakers reacted, and that's how you find yourself reacting to stressful situations, which...
Well, I think when you get stressed, you tend to like shout more, and you're like on edge, and you're more impatient, aren't you? So when you learn how to just take a deep breath, that's how you wipe away the stress, isn't
yes,
it?
Yeah.
It's basically just by breathing and then coming back to the present moment and thinking a little bit about yourself as well. Thinking about what you want.
Yeah, so true, yes. And if you have that tool, if you have that knowledge of how to deal with situations that arise that are stressful, because let's face it, we've all got them in our life every single day. Sometimes they're more and sometimes they're less.
And sometimes it's happy stress as well. It's not always bad stress, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you can just be overwhelmed by happy events like a wedding or something that's, organizing a party, and you want to do that.
Yes, you've chosen
But
to.
but at the same time, you might just feel like your mind is racing through the to-do list, and you forget to enjoy what you're actually going to be celebrating, that moment in life that's a special moment, and you forget that.
Well, you do, because you've got so much on your plate.
You do have a lot on your plate, but a lot of what is on your plate is also anxiety, that may not be necessary. So, it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Talking about weddings, but it does, especially a wedding is particularly a moment that we know that even the brides and grooms find overwhelming, and they might forget.
They forget to celebrate the moment.
Yeah,
because there's so many financial concerns as well that go along with it, aren't there? You're
That's
always
true.
pushing and stretching yourself with these parties and weddings and big occasions.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. You think a lot.
And sometimes, like the parents, some people don't get on either. So you've got my
the
daughter,
invitation.
one of her friends is getting married, and she says she's had a lot of trouble with people like not getting on within the family themselves, causing her extra stress.
Saying, don't invite so and so. I'm not coming if so.
It's not always so lovey-dovey and peaceful that everyone gets on.
No, it's not.
Is it?
No. So in those particular cases, having a little mental mop is very, very useful indeed.
Just to mop away.
Because you mop away the excess, those excess drops,
But how do you mop it
those
away?
puddles.
By being in the moment.
That's it. You
It's
have
so
to remember
hard to
it's
do.
so hard. I know. And isn't it funny that in the English language, the present is
a present.
it is like, it is a gift, and it's called the present. And you wonder why, presents are called presents. And that is it's literally called a gift, the present moment. It's a gift. And yet it's so easy to forget, and so easy to become overwhelmed. And I think as human beings, that's because we're prepared, aren't we? We're prepared to look for trouble, so as to keep us safe. So I think that when we do feel overwhelmed, we can say to ourselves, well, that's just how humans are made.
Yeah.
So I'm not particularly odd, or I'm just looking out for particularly stressful moments, because that's how I'm programmed to be.
Yeah.
So, and you can be kind to yourself.
Well, and you can also help yourself by organising your days. So like saying, it's okay, I feel safe, I'm going to do this tomorrow or after tomorrow.
Yeah, so like be wise about what you program in one day. Yes.
Like I remember we had that friend that used to program like 10 things in a day, and then she could never actually fulfill those things, and she would feel really frustrated.
I know, that was crazy.
And she would be, and we would say, look, it's normal. You can't expect yourself to do all that stuff in one day, go rushing around like a maniac.
Yeah, it was so much.
Yeah. And then be angry at the end of the day that you
yes.
haven't done it all.
Yeah,
you have to be kind to yourself. So you have to take each step, and yes, don't procrastinate, because that can make it worse. But take one step at a time and just do things like step by step.
I think that's
slowly.
Part of time management, learning, and that is really actually really, really important to learn how to do that. To manage your time well enough so that you don't become overwhelmed. And yeah, that can also be easier said than done, would you say?
Well, it's all easier said than
done. We can appreciate
that.
that.
Exist.
Exactly.
And that's why we had spent years trying to manage our own anxiety and stress.
Yeah,
and
very
we've
true.
learned how to bring it back down into the present moment. Say, today, how am I today? What do I need to do today to feel better? What's helpful for me today to do?
Yeah, what thoughts are helpful for me to keep, and what thoughts are helpful for me to mop away and really decide to let go of for now, because they're not helping me.
No, because you can't like, you can only do what you can do, but then you can't expect to influence, or you don't know what other people how they're going to behave and react to you, do you?
No.
So you can't expect to control other people's behaviour. So as long as you're doing the best that you can do, like say for this person that was having trouble with her relatives or whatever, she can't control how her relatives are feeling about the wedding or what they're going to do or how they're going to behave on the day. You can only hope to have a good day that day and just prepare for it. Maybe tell people this is my special day, but after that there's not that much you can do, and you can just either not invite those people if it's possible, or otherwise invite them and just accept the consequences. There might be a few squabbles.
There might be. Hopefully if you're the bride, you'll be, yes, you'll be
in your wedded bliss.
Yes, exactly. You'll be, hopefully people, when they actually come, they focus on the actual moment, and there's emotions.
The love.
Yes, it's
people feel for each other.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. And yeah, exactly. I mean, weddings, I was just thinking about weddings now because that's what we were talking about earlier on. And of course, yes, they can be a moment of stress. I do think they have to, the big reminder is a reason why you're doing it ultimately. And you've chosen to love over everything else, haven't you? You've chosen to do it. So,
well, yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. So if you've chosen it,
accept it
and be ready, be ready to accept that you will find yourself perhaps with a lot of things to do.
I know, but I think it's just like that in life in general, isn't it? There's always so much to do all the time.
I know. Yes, that is very, very true. We
have to cut down. I mean, I remember thinking about that. There's this one man on Instagram who was saying, I want people to come back to a more humble way of living. I want to bring people back to like the little Italian way of life, these little villages in Italy that are like shutting down because everyone's left. All the young people. And he said, I want people to come back to these villages. I want to encourage young families to come back. Build the infrastructure, the schools that they need, and so that people that want to have that more simple way of life where their children can just play in the streets, and just have like not that much going on every day. He wants that to happen, and maybe that is the way forward for these tiny Italian villages.
Well, yes. Well, they are. A lot of them are actually doing that. Yes. They're bringing in, most of the time what they do is that they're selling these houses that are no longer habitated, these apartment houses, even some villas at very low prices, and they're attracting the foreigners. So,
but wouldn't it be nice if they attracted the local?
Yes, the local, the Italians.
But anybody who wants to come, really. I'm not, just because they're foreigners. But
no, but that is what's happening. Yeah. That is what's happening. Yeah, a lot of the councillors and that are actually promoting to the foreigners.
I think because they're trying to promote to people that have the money maybe to make that big change as well, which is a bit or maybe people that can't afford the housing where they live because it's so extortionate.
I was speaking to
a different way of life
to a couple from Norway, and they said we could have never afforded the house that we bought in this little village called Arpino in Italy. They said, we could never. I said, so you've got this lovely house. It's beautiful. She said, we could have never afforded it in Norway. But we've decided to make this big change to live this kind of more humble life. She said, we really do want. I said, you really want your children to grow up in this little there's a little village school. She said, yes, there's due maestre, like there's 2 teachers. And that's it, and a headmaster. Or a headmistress. So it's very, very small. They had 2 classrooms.
They'd reduced everything.
So what you were saying before about the humbler life, I think
we can simplify our own lives, can't we?
Yeah. You don't have to move to a village in Italy.
You can become your own village, can't you?
Yes, you can.
You can get your little friends around you to support you.
Yeah. You can definitely do that, and you can reduce a lot of the excess things.
Excess that you don't need, and the expectations.
A lot of the upset and the stress comes with these enormously high expectations.
For everything.
Yeah, that is so true. If you reduce the expectations, you reduce a lot of stress. Not saying that you have to think negatively about things and think, it's going to be awful. No, just think it's going to be as it is. Whatever happens, happens. I can keep a portion of peace. Not that you have to be like some Buddha, but you can keep some peace in your mind. And that peace, it really does. It helps you so much when you have that mental calmness. When you're talking with other people, they can kind of like feel it as well.
I think they feel it, but I think that you feel it more than them.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
You feel it so much that it like reduces all your stress. And if you think about it, if you just take a deep breath now and you think, most of the stuff is things that you're worrying about or excesses that, that you can maybe... Sometimes you may be in trouble, in financial trouble or whatever, but there's always a help you can get. There's always the little tiny steps that you can get towards making your life better without having to take these giant leaps.
That's true.
Just small differences every day can really make that difference to your life. And when you do stop to take a few deep breaths and just think, okay, I'm going to live in the present, it's amazing how much clarity of mind you get.
That is so true. Yeah,
you can suddenly think.
You can think because your mind has been, as with the mop, it's been cleaned, it's been cleared, and so you find solutions. That's what happens. Instead of finding problems,
you look for solutions.
And I think that's the best thing you can ever do in your life, is to look for solutions. I'm always telling that to my to my kids, even though they're adults now. I say, well, okay, there's this problem. Let's look for a creative solution. Let's try and pivot the problem, look at it from a different point of view, and see what can we see if we're not looking at it only from that point of view. What about if we turn around a bit? Let's have a good look at it. Let's try and be a little bit creative here. Let's find a solution.
Well, that's brought to mind the Parmigiano Reggiano story, the Parmesan story.
Really?
When they had so much Parmesan left over in the warehouses and it was going to go off, it was going to go bad. And they said they didn't know what to do with it. And then they said, someone said, we'll invent a recipe that everybody loves and we'll use it. And they invented a recipe to use it. I think it was either Parmigiano or Pecorino, one of the cheeses.
What do you mean they invented a recipe?
They invented the cacio e pepe recipe that didn't exist before. And then restaurants everywhere started making it. And they used up all the Parmesan.
The actual pecorino Parmesan people invited. I can't
remember the
story
they
made some
but
kind
they made it out of.
They made it trendy.
Lemons.
Sort of thing.
They made lemonade. They had a problem and they found a creative solution for it to solve it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So they created this recipe that they knew was going to be,
and use abundant quantities of it, so it would all get used up. I can't remember the exact reason.
Okay, it was a cheese. It was an Italian cheese.
You can look it up in the end if you want to.
Right. Oh, there you go. That is a way.
That's like when you have clarity of mind, instead of thinking, "Oh, poor me," or
how am I going to sell?
Everyone's going to go under. That we won't be able to.
All I need to do is find a chef and create a recipe together and say what recipe, and then promote the recipe, the hell out of that recipe, basically.
That's what they did.
And made it trendy.
Yeah.
All right, that's a clever. That is a wonderful idea.
But that's what you can do as well in your own, just in your own small way. You can do that with your life. You can people do it every day. The people that are the most resourceful and have the most creative solutions, they will find they're always looking for a positive solution out of something maybe negative that's happened to them. You see it all the time, these inspiring stories.
You find these silver linings. I mean, like, for example, today, we left the house. I left the house with my husband, and we'd driven already 20 minutes because it was like a 45-minute drive. So we'd driven 20 minutes, full 20 minutes. And then he said, oh no, I've left my phone at home. Oh, damn it. He started with all the Italian, the cursing in Italian. And I said, well, okay. Do you really need your phone? He said, yes, I can't go today. I've got a meeting here, there. I go, all right, just go back. And as he was driving back, I was thinking, I wonder if it was like destiny for us to have to go back. And I just said that. I go, there might be a reason why you have to go back. And I started thinking about it. And I said, in the end, I said, did you take all your medicine this morning? Your blood pressure medication, everything you have to... He goes, oh my God, I didn't take any of it. And he suffers. He really does suffer from high blood pressure. So I said, oh my goodness, I knew there was a reason why we had to go back. So that's just a little example to say, I found another...
positivity.
Yes, I sort of looked at it in a different light, thinking, thank goodness. And he kept on saying, oh, thank goodness I went back in the end. He just bounced off it. And he said, I really had forgotten all of them. He takes so many that I forgot all of them. And I thought, goodness me, just as well, because...
Well, that's probably why he forgot his phone as well, because he was obviously a bit distracted.
Yeah, he was distracted because something else happened, a distraction occurred, and when things aren't, when you're in this pattern, you're in this automatic programming, when you get up, you do all your normal things. If something is disrupted, you can forget things that you would normally do.
You do forget.
And you do forget. Anyway, I mean, there's always a way of looking at it differently.
There's a different perspective always. There's always that perspective. You could always reframe things. You can frame around
see it in a different light. You think, oh, well, that happened, but what about that? And that's so helpful in life to think like that. Because you come out of the victim mode. Oh, poor me, I forgot my damn phone, Or you can think, well, all right, I have to go back. Oh, what a drag. But maybe, there's a reason why I had to go back, or... for whatever reason this happened, or even if there wasn't a reason.
There wasn't a reason, you can usually find one.
Yes. I started finding one and thinking there might be a reason why we have to go back.
You might have left the window open.
Something that you needed.
Something that you were distracted by.
Absolutely. So
anyway, the mop is a very useful tool to clear your mind. Once and for all.
Oh, well done. And having said that, I think we'll say goodbye. Yes, you made a little rhyme.
Please do come and say hello everywhere, because it makes a real difference. You know that only 1 in 4 or 5 of you actually bother to subscribe, and I know it's difficult because you're on the go as well, but it really does help us and make a difference. Or if you send us a text and say hello, we really do love hearing from you.
We really do.
We do.
We really, 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 we really do. So, what was it? The mop for once and for all? What did you say? You made a little rhyme.
Can't remember.
Oh, there you go.
Never mind. Use the mop once and for all to clear your mind.
And that is all.
Bye-bye. Today. Bye-bye. Lots of love and smiles
from the English sisters. Bye.